upon their servants. However, there remains one area that needs to be improved. The grounds around the temple look terrible. When I arrived yesterday, there was garbage strewn all over the grass. And weeds have grown up very high. So, you should think about this. This is the first impression when someone comes. That maybe the temple now may look so much nicer than before, but still, when someone approaches the temple, it still looks like a dump. Dump means the place where they throw all the garbage, outside of the city. All right. Now we will turn to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 8. Text number 8, there's no purport, so we'll also read text number 9. So one may ask that if it was Brahminical for Pulastya, who was burning up the demons, if it was Brahminical for him to forgive them and give up his anger, then why does Lord Krishna say Vinasaya Chadushkritam? That one of the two reasons he comes into this world is to kill the demons. Also, Lord Krishna's pure devotees sometimes engage in killing the demons together with Krishna. When Agni, the god of fire, desired to eat the Khandava forest, he turned to Krishna and Arjuna for help. Khandava. Because that forest was protected by Indra. So whenever Agni would try to devour that forest, Indra would immediately send clouds, and it would rain, and Agni could not do anything. So he asked Lord Krishna and Arjuna, who just happened to be camping near that forest. He came in the form of a Brahmana with red beard and red eyes. And he asked them he said, I am very hungry, so can you help me? And he explained he wanted to eat the whole forest. So Lord Krishna and Arjuna, they took up their stations with their bows and arrows ready, and Agni began to devour the forest, and Arjuna personally drove off Indradeva, prevented him from raining on the fire. And as the fire consumed the forest, many demons, rakshasas, and also demoniac creatures, strange demoniac beasts, who all used to take shelter in that forest. They were either being burned or they were trying to escape, and as they were trying to escape by the thousands, Lord Krishna and Arjuna were killing them. Lord Krishna and Arjuna showed no mercy to those demons. The only one who could escape was Mayadanava, because he surrendered at Arjuna's lotus feet. And so in return for being rescued, Mayadanava, at Lord Krishna's request, he built that wonderful assembly house of the Pandavas. You may know that this assembly house had floors made of crystal, clear crystal. And set within this, and there were very thick crystal floors, and set within that crystal were also crystal lotus flowers, which came up through the clear crystal, and then there was a lotus on top. Then some other sections of the floor had real water and real lotuses and real fish. So it was very difficult to tell the difference between the floor and the pool of water. And actually, it is said that it was because Duryodhana, he entered that assembly house and he avoided the real floor and stepped into the pond of water. And then, not only that, he was embarrassed by that. He got all his clothes wet. But Bhima and Arjuna and the queens, Draupadi and other queens, they all laughed. He became so angry his hair stood on him. Mm-hmm. And this was actually the cause of his determination to finish off the Pandavas. Of course, he was always envious. But when this happened, then he told his grandfather, Dhritarashtra, who was always like wavering back and forth. He said, either the Pandavas are finished or I will commit suicide. Dhritarashtra, then he thought, well, if I have to choose between the two, I choose my son. Then it started more and more. Anyway, we were talking about Arjuna killing demons. So if it is Brahminical, as we see Pulastya Muni doing, if it is Brahminical, to give up one's enmity and forgive demons, anyway, it's their nature to do nonsense. So why should I be angry with them? So if that's Brahminical, then why does the Supreme Brahman, Krishna, nonetheless destroy the demons? Say that that's his mission, that's his purpose, as well as of course, delivering the saintly persons, the devotees. Anybody like to try to answer this question? Yes.
Because Krishna's killing is also.
Very good. Yes, in essence, this is the right answer. When Kaliya's serpent was being punished by Krishna, then his wives, who were all devotees to the Lord, they offered very wonderful prayers. Krishna was dancing on the head of the serpent. And in one prayer, they made a very relevant statement which relates to this. They said, Dhatse Damam Halam Evanasam, which means, dear Lord Krishna, that you show no difference in your dealings with either your people or your own sons, Sutanam. You deal with everyone the same. For by punishing Kaliya, you're actually showing him your favor. Actually, this example of son that they give is very good. Because sometimes the father has to punish his son. But he punishes his son out of love. The father, of course, we're not talking about the fathers. We're talking about fathers who really know the goal of life and want their sons to attain that goal of life. So sometimes they have to correct their sons from going astray, going down the wrong path, going to hell. Son of God. Devotees and demons alike. So when Krishna appears, he punishes his wayward sons. To show them mercy. Now what is important here in understanding to Pulastya's forgiving the demons is that Krishna does this without any personal enmity on his part. Enmity means he has no hatred for the demons. Ripo Sutanam Apitulya Drishtir. The wives of the Kaliya serpent said, you see, Tulya Drishtir means to see the same. Your enemies and your sons, you see them the same. So Krishna doesn't punish the demons out of revenge. He's not angry with them. He's not getting back at them for doing something to him. Krishna's transcendent. When he looks at all this, he's seeing his own parts and parcels, his eternal servants. And he loves all of it. And those, he wants to help them come back to the right path. So, if that means sometimes he will cut off their head with his chakra and give them liberation, then he will do it. And he does that with the same loving concern as when he blesses his pure devotee by placing, just like Prahlad Maharaj, Lord Nrsingadev, who tore apart, just got finished tearing apart Hiranyakashipu, then with those same hands with sharp claws, he patted Prahlad Maharaj on the head. You're a good boy. So, Pulastya, we can understand that he actually, his heart became agitated by the depredations. You know that word, depredations? Means the plundering activities of the demons. His heart became agitated by desire for vengeance. Vengeance means, revenge. Revenge, yes. No, it's Pulastya. Oh, sorry. Yes, Parashara. You're right. Pulastya was the father. He's the father of the demon. So, Parashara Muni, his heart became agitated by the plundering activities of the demons. So that is not good for a Brahmana to harbor ill will in his heart to anyone. Brahmana is supposed to be everyone's well-wisher, because a Brahmana represents Krishna, and Krishna is everyone's well-wisher. Therefore, Pulastya, who is the father of the demon, he was satisfied with Parashara Muni's Brahminical qualifications. When Parashara Muni gave up that anger, actually it's a form of enviousness. He gave up that enviousness to the demon. But we should understand that Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee Arjuna, they kill demons without any such enmity in their heart. Krishna kills the demons to correct them, and pure devotee like Arjuna kills the demons because Krishna tells him, kill the demons. So understanding such distinction requires fine intelligence. Just like you may know that Maharaj Yayati, he was cursed by Shukracharya with old age, premature old age. So Maharaj Yayati turned to his sons. He had 5 famous sons. And he turned to them and he asked them, one after another, if they would kindly give him their youth and take his old age, because Shukracharya said this is the only way that you can get free of this curse. So the youngest son, Puru, is famous in history because he accepted this proposal, and he took his father's old age and gave his father his youth. And the oldest son is equally famous as Puru. This is Maharaj Yadu, in whose dynasty Lord Krishna appeared, the Yadu dynasty. But Maharaj Yadu refused. The middle 3 sons, whose names were Druyu, Anu, and Turvasu, they also refused. But Maharaj Yadu is glorified. It is said he did the right thing. And yet those middle 3 sons, they were condemned. They are considered to have offended their father. And they were, later on, they had to become lechas as a result of that offense. So can anyone explain why Maharaj Yadu is glorified for having refused his father, and those middle three sons are condemned? Because after all, the choice they made was the same. Yes? This is a good try, but it's speculation. Anyone else? Okay. So the answer again is to be found in the motive. Maharaj Yadu, in refusing his father, had no personal motive. He cited scripture. He said that in order for me to fulfill my Kshatriya dharma, I have to enjoy my senses while I'm young. Because Kshatriyas are very passionate. They're very saintly and noble, but they're also very passionate. So, Kshatriya boys at age 16, they must be married. Whereas a Brahmana boy, if he so desires, he may remain brahmachari his whole life. But Kshatriyas cannot, not beyond age 16. So, Maharaj Yadu said, so if I take your old age now, because I'm young, then I'll not be able to satisfy all my desires. And then I'll never be able to renounce later on. And there is something in what Bharadari said that relates to this, that because he was the oldest, he had to inherit the kingdom. He would be the king. So as king, he had to set the proper dharma. He had to set the proper example. And if he took his father's old age, then he would not be able to do that. So this is the important point is this, is that Maharaj Yadu refused his father not out of any personal motivation, and therefore he's glorious. Whereas it is said the next three brothers, they thought, what? Me give up my youth? No, I don't want to become old. So their grounds for refusing their father was completely personally motivated. Another example that comes to mind is the preaching of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is the incarnation of who? Lord Shiva. Yes. And Shankaracharya's mission was to delude the atheists and to re-establish the Vedas as the standard of all knowledge in Indian society by preaching Mayavadi philosophy, as Vaishnavacharyas have explained. We also consider Sripad Shankaracharya to be our guru. Not for the philosophy, but for his excellent following of the order of Krishna. Mm-hmm. But those who imitate Shankaracharya, no, they're not respectable at all. Mm-hmm. They're simply creating havoc. Mm. To illustrate this point, Srila Prabhupada used to tell a funny story of a veterinarian and his assistant. Veterinarian is animal doctor. So one day the veterinarian was called by a farmer to treat a horse that had a big swelling in his neck. So the veterinarian asked the assistant to bring him his bag, his black bag. And then the swelling went down. The horse was cured. And the farmer who owned the horse was very grateful. So seeing this, the assistant thought, oh, this is a very easy way to treat sick animals. So the assistant separated himself from the doctor and started his own practice. And he was going around. Any animal that was sick, he would take out a big hammer and beat it on the neck, and these animals were killed. So the complaints came back to the veterinarian that your former assistant, he's a madman. He's going around beating animals on the neck with hammer and killing them. So the veterinarian confronted his former assistant and said, "What are you doing? Why you do this, killing animals with a hammer?" And he said, "Oh no, I'm treating them just the way you did. I saw how you hit that horse on the neck and cured him." Mm-hmm. Then the doctor said, "Oh, you fool." He said, "That horse had swallowed a watermelon." Now don't ask how a horse can swallow a watermelon. But anyway, somehow this horse swallowed a watermelon and it got stuck in the neck. So the doctor just hit the horse in the neck with a hammer and broke the watermelon, and it all went down and the horse was cured. Mm-hmm. So again, if one tries to imitate the wonderful activities of a great personality, but is imitating them just to promote himself, make himself famous, then that motivation is condemned. Therefore, at the end, the last part of this purport, Srila Prabhupada stresses so much the parampara system. That one becomes qualified to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam by his hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam from a bona fide representative of Sri Guru Parampara. And hearing, proper hearing, means to catch the mood of the spiritual master. Not just to imitate externally, but to actually catch the mood. And what is that mood? That is the mood of selfless service. The bona fide spiritual master does not recite the Srimad Bhagavatam as entertainment, to make a show. There are professionals who do that, who do just that. They're great scholars of the Bhagavatam in the sense that they've memorized whole chapters or whole cantos of the Bhagavatam. But their mood in reciting the Bhagavatam is not to glorify Krishna, not to instill pure devotion in the hearts of the listeners, not to expand Krishna consciousness through the world, but to become celebrated. Oh, he is such a great reciter of the Bhagavatam. So in India, this is a good business. These professional Bhagavatam reciters, some of them are coming to their shows in chauffeur-driven Mercedes-Benz, because it's very good business. But this is not actually Bhagavatam that they're reciting. Bhagavatam means Bhagavat. Bhagavat and Bhagavat means the Lord Himself. So the sound vibration, which is Bhagavat, is that sound vibration which is pervaded by the presence of Krishna Himself. What word? The whole thing? The sound vibration which is actually Bhagavat is the sound vibration which is permeated or pervaded by the Lord Himself. As the Bhagavatam itself declares, Pravishta Karna Randrena Svanam Bhava Sororuham Dhunoti Shamalam Krishna Yata Shalilasya Sharat. That the sound of the Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound incarnation of Krishna. So when that Bhagavatam enters the heart through the ears, then the heart is purified. So when these fellows, the professionals, recite the Bhagavatam. That doesn't happen.
Когато тези професионалисти цитират Бхагаватам, не се случва това.
As Prabhupada declares, the result is opposite.
Като Прабхупада казва, резултатите е точно противоположни.
They like to go to the 10th canto of Bhagavatam and discuss Krishna's intimate affairs with the gopis. And because they're selfishly motivated, they're only thinking of their own material benefit in this recitation. Therefore, these topics, when they enter the ears of the listeners, they generate lust in their hearts. They think that this is ordinary, mundane sex affairs.
И тези хора, професионалисти, веднага отиват на 10-та песен и почват да говорят за демоните с Кришна Свобода. И тъй като техният мотив е егоистичен, с цел да получат някаква материална изгода, това, което те казват, предизвиква от сърцата на слушателите само поход. И тези слушатели си мислят, че всички тези забавления са просто светски материални взаимоотношения.
So, as we've been seeing in all these examples we've been discussing in this class, it is the mood that makes the difference.
И както виждате, за всички тези примери, които правихме в лекцията, настроението е това, което прави разлика.
Just as there was a difference in the mood of Parasara Muni's burning up the demons, and when Krishna and Arjuna burned up the demons in the Kandava forest.
Също както има разлика между настроението на Парашара, когато изгарал демоните, и също на Кришна и Арджуна, които също изгарали демоните.
The difference was that Parasara Muni was self-motivated. And so when he gave up that self-motivation, then he was considered glorious, a glorious Brahmana.
И разликата била в егоистичния мотив на Парашара Муни, когато той го изоставил, той го възхвалява заради браминските си качества.
So similarly, one has to consider in the recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the mood.
И по подобен начин човек трябва да взема предвид в цитирането на Шримад Бхагаватам настроението, с което човек се.
If the mood is materialistic, then Krishna does not enter the sound vibration coming from that person's mouth.
Ако настроението е материалистично, тогава Кришна не влиза в тази звукова вибрация, която влиза от устата на този Кришна.
Rather, Maya enters that sound.
И по този начин човек да е противоположен.
So, to be a member, to be considered a bona fide member of the Sampradaya, a bona fide disciple, then one has to have this fine discrimination, to know how to catch the mood of the spiritual master.
И за да бъде истински ученик на Гуна Парампара, човек трябва да има тази ясна интелигентност, за да може да прояви настроението на този.
By catching up that mood, then that disciple will actually be able to further the mission of Sri Guru Parampara in this world.
Когато той възприеме това настроение за да бъде изключително, той ще може да продължи неговата мисия на Гуна.
And if not, he can hinder the mission.
Ако не, той може по-скоро да възпрепятства тази мисия.
So are there any questions?
Има ли някакви въпроси?
Yes. Question?
Yes. I have one question about so-called translations in Srimad Bhagavatam, because I found many mistakes in translation in Bulgarian, and in your lectures say that they smile. That's right?
Well, this is a topic for further discussion.
Yes.
This is not something that can be dealt with on this forum, in this Bhagavatam class. Any, yes, Shashavin.
Message philosophy of this verse is the same from this story about carrying the Govardhana from the Himalayas.
Why not? Sometimes, sometimes the personalities have the same name, but they're different. For instance, the Durvasa Muni, who tried to curse Maharaj Ambarish, is a different person from the Durvasa Muni who sometimes appears in Krishna's pastimes and blesses Krishna, such as that time when the gopis went to see Durvasa. There's two sages, both are very powerful, but one is an eternal associate of Lord Krishna, and the other is a kind of, you might say, expansion or manifestation, sort of illusory manifestation in the material world. Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's all I'll say on this point. Yes. Stanu.
Чул съм, че има някакви драми, които прави щастливи за изпълнят това мисля. Има такова настроение, като Парашари не е приел такова настроение, да тръгнем с друго подразделение.
I've heard that some brahmanas become kshatriyas to fulfill some mission. Why Parashara has not done this to execute this? Потушно защо не става това kshatriya?
Да, защо не
е става kshatriya?
Не става.
Why he has not become kshatriya?
Maybe you should ask him. I have a question.
Это разпространение книги, което разпространява книги. Например, някой човек си хареса по-голяма книга, чем с твърди корици, но има нещо за книга с меки корици. Аз му обясня това и той се съгласи, че това е твърде малко, което дава за книга с твърди корици и вземе книга с меки корици. Но след това, след като се раздигам, той отново не остава това в ума и след това разпространя след своите колеги, така и така. Отначало бях взел уж една книга, след това взех друга книга, взех с меки корици и след да разпространя. После като тези, които са своите колеги. И това дава отражение на тези хора, които срещат отново. Как да действам? Как да действам? Какво да отношението на нас?
Когато обясняваш.
Outside
that sometimes he said when if someone likes how the food, bigger food, then but he is also much Lakshmi. He gives the Lakshmi, but how to explain that this Lakshmi are enough for the soft bounded. He has to take the very small. So here this person agrees and he takes, but then he has this bad feeling that maybe he cheated him somehow and distributes this.
Kalavinka has a bad feeling.
No, this
Oh,
the
man.
Because first he thinks that this book likes it and then give the money, but then he said, no, for this book, these are not enough, you have to take this one. So he changed it and this person has the feeling. And then he distributes the feeling to the other person, so he has this problem sometimes that some can say, oh, I know this cheat. So how to, his question is how to deal with such situation.
Well, I think that you'll find this is, to a certain extent, unavoidable. Ideally, we would like to leave every one of our customers fully satisfied in every respect. But more important than that is to distribute as many books as possible. So you can only spend so much time with each person. You can only spend a limited time with each person. So within that limited time, you try to satisfy him by explaining about the price of the books and the different, size of the books and so on. But you have to go on and distribute more books. So you may not, in the few minutes you have, be able to fully satisfy him. In any case, taking that book, despite his bad feeling, whatever, but taking that book is the best thing he will have done in his whole life. Otherwise, all of his other activities in this lifetime are V-karma, sinful. And he's so sinful that he even feels bad about taking that book. So what can we do? We have to distribute Prabhupada's books. As I said, we should not be callous and unfeeling with the people. We should try to help them understand. But you can't spend half a day with one person preaching to him till he finally says, okay, I accept. I'm happy with this book. Thank you very much. Callous means, it means to be hard or unfeeling. We don't want to be hard or unfeeling with the people. Yes, Pandurani.
Often when we follow the instructions of the spiritual master, our mind is telling exactly the opposite. We feel
Mm-hmm.
So my two questions: how can we understand if you're completely sincere? And how can we achieve this mood of selfishness?
Selflessness. Well, you have to appreciate the great emergency that you're in. Srila Prabhupada said that the difficulty, he once remarked, the difficulty with his Western disciples is that they're not afraid of Maya. You see? Just like you're saying, the spiritual master is telling you something and your mind is telling something else. So, if we listen to the mind, I'm just saying, we just listen to the mind, not that we act on it, but even if we give the mind some attention and consider, maybe, then that means we're not afraid of Maya. We're being very reckless. Reckless means like reckless driving, driving without careless. It's dangerous situation, but we're not caring about it. Ние започнем да обръщаме внимание, дори да не действаме, просто обърнем внимание на това, което ни казва ума и си казваме, да, може би това означава, че ние не се страхуваме от ума, или ние сме много невнимателни или много небрежни, както когато някой кара да велосипед, може да е напълно небрежен, да не осъзнава опасността, която има. So, the factual position is just like when a house catches fire. The spiritual master is simply that person who comes in the house, he breaks down the door and he's shouting, "Fire, fire, get out, get out!" And he's running in the rooms and grabbing people and saying, "Come on, let's go, get out, and throwing them out the door. Mm-hmm. So, when you understand the situation in this way, then what is this question about hypocrisy and, what my mind says? This is all nonsense. If you're in a burning house, you get out as fast as you can. You don't think, you don't feel guilty, you don't want, you don't say to the person who's telling you to get out, "Well, I'm really sorry, I can't follow your instructions with my full heart. It's very difficult for me." Много съжалявам, но всъщност не мога да следвам инструкциите за пълно сърце. If one sees things as they are, he runs out of the house as fast as he can, without thinking anything except get out, get out. And any other reaction, to start to argue with the person, "Well, I don't know if I should leave, this is all craziness. This is complete insanity." So if you find yourself, with respect to the order of the spiritual master, thinking in some other way and, on this mental platform, you should just understand that you're crazy. That's all. You're just crazy. And so we should stop being crazy. There's no other thing to think except I'm only doing this because I'm crazy. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. So we will stop here. there'll be Arti tonight at what time? 6 o'clock. Bhagavad Gita class at 6:30. And on Saturday at 6 o'clock there will be the Stay High Forever class. Which will consist of 2.5 hours of chanting Hare Krishna to Srila Prabhupada's original melody. And this is done in preparation for Srila Prabhupada's centennial in 1996. So you may want to consider, we did this, we were just in Romania, in Timișoara, and we did it, and the devotees became so enlivened, they said, we're going to do this every Saturday night.